Welcome back to part 4 of the biofuel factory creation and Thornton Farm map editing. Going to continue on here to create my area of where I want to put the actual biofuel factory, and again hopefully you'll join me to finish this up. There will be another video after this just completing the actual biofuel factory sort of setup and a few more changes I've made. And yeah, we'll get it all sorted out. So hopefully, again, as I say, you'll get something out of this. And yeah, so again, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and we'll continue on from here. So let's do this. We'll do this. Come around here, and I'm going to basically put a road in behind the BGA here. So we'll do this. And come up into here like so. Okay, so now that we've got some sort of an area there where I can put the actual mod into, what I need to do now though is actually flatten this kind of area off so that the mod will sit proper on the level ground. So I'm going to, let's come across to here, and we'll take a note of the land height from here and then level this off appropriately. So the way I'm going to do that is use the picking tool here, replace picking, Control R. So what I need to do is go into my terrain sculpt mode, and then on the map itself here I need to press left control and R on my keyboard, and watching the replace figure here, that should change like so to the height of the ground level over here. Whoops, wrong key. So I just press the back to put that back down again. Now what I want to do here is change my left mouse button to replace, because I want to use the replace tool, which is why I've taken the measurement of the ground level there, and I want to basically bring or level off the ground in this entire area to that height. So I'm just going to left click on my mouse and bring the ground up to that particular height in this area. And then what I will do is use the small smoothing tool later on to basically make this look a bit prettier. So we'll just go all the way up to the end here like so, to bring the ground level up to the appropriate height. So that the mod can sit flat against it. Like so. And you can see that on this particular map there are some raised areas around this area, around here anyway. Oops, didn't click off, there we go. So what I can do is now blend that into the map by go up to the edge, I think, to the hedge. And then what I will do is actually change over. So I'm going to change my left mouse button to smooth. I could use my middle mouse button if it worked, but I'm having a bit of issues with my mouse at the moment. So now what I'm going to do is just drag across there with my smoothing tool, using the left mouse button again. So it smooths that edge off. Come around here and smooth this edge off as well, like so. And then what I can do is kind of continue this dirt texture around here to make it look like it's meant to be, and then as I say, I'll fill the grass in later on as we come to that. So I think that looks okay. I think it will work. I think it will work. So what I'm going to do now then is bring my mod back over into this area. So I'll highlight it in the cinnagraph, and I'm just going to then drag it back into this area, put it back somewhere over here. Like so. And this is what I said earlier on in the part 1 of the video with the base plate. If you find that the base plate is causing you issues, you could always rescale it if you so wish to do so, but what I would probably suggest is to just delete it once you've actually got your area that you want to put your mod into. It's no longer required because now your base plate, if you like, is the map that you're importing the mod into, so you don't really require it anymore. What I want to do here though is have everything where I can get to it and see it quite freely and clearly, and also I need to be able to come in with my vehicle and obviously drive in and around and get onto my trigger and everything. So what I'm going to do here is actually swing this around like so, and then bring it over and come back. And we'll see how this works. Might not be very good, don't know yet, we'll see. Might have to remove that tree or move that tree. Let's move that tree maybe over a little bit. Something like that. Give me a bit more space to turn around and maneuver. So we'll reselect the mod, bring it back this way a little bit. So now theoretically I should be able to come in with my tractor, drive up over my trigger, tip trigger, with my particular fruit types and my water, and then drive back out the other side. So I think that should work okay. So what I'm going to do now then is I'm going to actually click on the base plate, hit delete on my keyboard to remove it because I no longer require it, because I will be retexturing this area so that it's more of an appropriate texture for the placement of this particular mod. So what I can do now then is go back to my train furrows paint mode with my grass still selected, move just a little bit more grass around this area here, and as I say I will put that back in as I need to. So now I have my info panel over here that I can get to no problem, and everything looks pretty good there I think, and I can come around here, hit my triggers, tip whatever I need to tip in, and then exit out. So I think that looks okay. So what I think I will do here now then is go into my train detail texture paint mode. I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to change this. It's already on dirt, so that's fine. So what I'm going to do now, I need to change my brush. I've got my left mouse button to smooth still, so I need to change it back to add, otherwise it won't let me put the dirt down. So I'm just going to continue on this dirt texture around here like so. Then what I can do is change back over to my train furrows paint mode, and I need to come down to my furrows layer painting. With my grass selected, I need to go into the furrows channels and click 6 because that's fully grown grass, and I can then paint my grass back in this area like so. And then what I will do is actually go back over to my train detail paint mode, and this will be sort of a bit of an experiment really, whether you want it to be dirt or whether you want it to be asphalt or cobblestone or whatever else you want it to be, but I'm going to go with dirt. So we'll just basically create our road in here like so. Like so. And then what I could potentially do here is to create my road out like so, and I need to get to my fill trigger there, which would appear to be under the map at the moment, so I need to reselect my mod. So let's do that, and we'll just come up just a tad so I can see my manhole cover. There we go, perfect. And then I'm going to reselect my train detail texture paint mode and basically bring in a bit more dirt like so. So I can come over to that. And then I could potentially join that road back into that one like so. So theoretically then that would be, the idea would be there to come in down this side and then obviously come onto the tip trigger, and obviously tip in my product and then come back out round here, creating somewhat of an area that I can reverse in to my refill point and then exit out down here and then back out onto the road again. So we'll see how that works in game. Again, this is going to be something that we'll need to be played around with and manipulated to a point where you're comfortable with it in game and it works for you. So you know, these things can be somewhat time consuming, but once you actually get the idea and what you're trying to achieve, so I'm going to do here is just go into there, change back over to my smooth tool. I'm just going to smooth this edge off here a little bit so my tractors don't flip when I come in here, being careful not to lower it too much past the road. So just smooth that down like so. There we go, I think that looks okay. So I'll work with that for now. So go back to my train foliage paint mode, and I need to, yeah, that's fine, we're on grass. Oh, I need to change that back again to add, I really do need to get a new mouse. Okay, so we can come back in here and put our grass back in, like so. And down this side, just to sort of finish it off. And through here. So what we could do here perhaps maybe is to extend this out a little bit and come around with the dirt over the actual indicators and what have you. Like I say, you may wish to change this, so what we could do here if we wanted to is actually come down to our dirt and then change this over to maybe cobblestones or whatever you wanted to put in here. So we could do this just for this particular area. And do something like that. Now, unfortunately, in FarmSim 15, you are limited to how many different textures you can use within a particular area, and that is 4. So as you can see in the blocks here, I have asphalt, dirt, leaves, grass there. Over here I have gravel, dirt, leaves, grass. So, and in this one, I have no idea. This one I have asphalt, dirt, leaves, grass, cobblestone, dirt, grass. So I have only 3 in that one, but that one there ends on this grid here. So as soon as I come up to this end here, I can no longer put cobblestone down, because in this particular grid I have asphalt, dirt, leaves and grass, so it won't allow me to put cobblestones down. So that will limit me there a little bit, but that's fine. I'm okay with that, because I'm just going to have cobblestones underneath this particular area. That's no problem. Right, so I'm going to go back to my grass and just fill this in a little bit. Come around here like so. And what I will do is just put a small amount of grass in here. Now, I don't know whether you'd have grass around a biofuel centre or not, but I think, you know, just add something a little bit more to it than just having an area which is completely covered in dirt and nothing else. So we're just going to do that just to break it up a little bit, because we can. And we'll do this. And then perhaps maybe you might want to go back to the dirt, not cobblestones, go back to the dirt maybe, and then create an area here if it will let me. So you can get to the door, like so. And then back to the grass. What I'm going to do here is just save, and I'm going to grab a drink. Okay, that's better. I can continue on here with my grass. Like so. If I wanted to here, I could come down and maybe go to bushes and put in a few bushes here, like so. Then come back to my grass, making sure I click Foliage Channel 6 for fully grown, and I can then continue on here and fill this in as well. Okay, so we'll just keep on going down here, filling the grass there like so, changing the brush size to accommodate. There we go, looking good. So we've got all that set up there, all the grass is there and there. Put a little bit just here, like so. Finish that off, and that, and that. There we go, perfect. So now what I can do, if I want to, I can kind of enclose this a little bit, just to sort of finish it off. So if I click back on my elm tree here, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the interactive placement tool, but I'm going to then try and make copies of the tree, so I don't have to make individual copies and drag them across. So the way I do this is to go Control B on my keyboard, but hold my left control key down, and then when I place it on the map like so, I can just literally, oh okay, that didn't work. It's a little bit tricky sometimes, so it doesn't work every time. I've had it work sometimes and not other times. So I'll just bring that down. So let's try that again. So I'm going to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to hold my left control hold my left mouse button down. No, doesn't work. Oh well, never mind, doesn't matter. Not quite sure what's going on there with that. Let's delete that because that's all gone wrong. So we'll choose let's do that one, Control D, and we'll just do it the old fashioned way and just drag them. That's fine. So we'll just do that, Control D, drag it, put it where you want it. There is a way to actually use the interactive placement tool and then just basically put them wherever you want on the map by just clicking, but it works sometimes and then other times it decides it doesn't want to, so, or I'm just doing it wrong one way or the other. So we'll just come around here and we're just going to basically put some trees around here like so to sort of enclose this off a little bit, and we can continue on round. Trying not to sort of put them too much in the way, so I don't come in with my machinery and end up just hitting the trees all the time, because that would be rather annoying. So I'm just trying to place them somewhere close, but not so that they're in the way. So just continue on round. Like so, and continue on round. Now this may not necessarily be, you know, what you want to do. It might be a case of you don't think trees and biofuel go together very well. You may think that, you know, you're closing off the map too much, so it's, you know, you're going to sort of shut down an area of the map that you'd like to be able to look across or whatever else. And it is a very, very beautiful map, very well put together, very well done. So, you know, I can understand that. We'll just finish that one off there like so. So I think that kind of encloses that. For me, I think that looks perhaps maybe a little bit better. You might want to break it up and put different types of trees in there. Not necessarily all of these maple trees or whatever they are, or elm trees. You might want to choose a different type of tree, perhaps a maple tree, I don't know. However whatever works for you really. For me that's fine, I have no problem with that. I think that looks pretty good. I could continue on down and, you know, all the way down the actual back of the BGA here and all the rest of it, but I may do that off screen, I don't know, we'll see. And sort of close all this off completely. Might just leave it like that, I don't know yet, we'll just see. It's all about experimenting with it and getting it, you know, how you want it to be. I think that perhaps maybe coming in from over this way here, you can see the smoke coming through the trees there. I think, oh, what's the hell's that? You know, that might be, you know, quite nice to have a bit of a surprise coming around here and finding a biofuel centre somewhere stuck out in the middle of nowhere, out the back here. Whereas if the trees weren't there, you'd be able to see it from the road perhaps, and it then would maybe break the immersion, break the surprise. I don't know, up to you. I think that this for me looks better. So yeah, I'm going to leave that like that for now, because I want to move on and actually get the mod working, which is really the more important part. If it doesn't work, then it's not really much use to anybody. So I'm just going to go back into here just very quickly and finish this off. Put in the grass in there, just so it's nice and filled in. There we go, perfect. So not too bad. I mean, you know, there may be some tweaks that need to be done to it, but cross that bridge later on. It's just getting it all sort of set up and working, and then playing around with that side of things later on. So now that I've got that set up like so, again, you could put some more bushes and bits and pieces in here, maybe another few trees in the middle there if you wanted to, and all sorts of different things. You know, you could perhaps maybe have one of these trees here, and then do, you know, Control D, bring it across, kind of bury most of the tree under the ground there, so it looks more like a bush than it does a tree. And perhaps maybe have some sort of a setup like that. There we go. But then, you know, I think you kind of, then you are really closing the area off, so you can't actually see the biofuel sign and everything else. So might not necessarily be ideal. So yeah, up to you. We'll leave it like that for now. I think that works for me. So, and I've not broken up the map too much. I've not had to mess around creating massive areas outside of the border of the map. It is part of the map. Now obviously this won't show up on your mini-map in game. Does it really matter? I don't know. For me, not so much, but it might matter to some. So you may have to have a play around with your mini-map and obviously take a screenshot of it and update it, update the actual PDA and all the rest of it, but I'm not going to bother too much about that. I think that looks okay and I'm going to go with it. So, okay, next thing I want to do here is I'm going to save again, and I'm going to grab another drink, and then we'll have a look in the mod desk and set up some scripts and whatever else, and then eventually we'll put this into the game and hopefully get it all working. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So here we are back on the desktop again, and we're in the Thornton Farm map folder structure here. We have our fuel production 01 folder. So if I go into there, and we've got the biofuel.lua script that I copied across from the American Farms map, but I don't want to put it in, I don't want to leave it in this folder because it makes the path file name in the mod desk far too long. So what I want to do here is I'm going to highlight that, Control X to cut it, and I'm going to go back to the map folder, I'm going to go into the scripts folder, and I'm going to paste it in there like so. This keeps the actual path file name to that script to a minimum, and it brings all of these scripts together in one place so they are somewhat easier to find. So what I can do now is go back into the Thornton Farm main folder, open up the mod desk in Notepad++. So what I need to do now is actually create myself a new line in the extra source files here for that particular script. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now by just pressing enter to create my new line. Then what I can do here is actually copy a line, a source file name line, which already has the map scripts path file name. It's got fruits.lua, but what I'm going to do is basically overwrite that. So what I'm going to do here is, or alternatively, because we copied it over from here earlier on, what we could do is actually copy this one. So let's do that. So let's copy that, because otherwise it makes copying this over a bit pointless. So we'll copy that line there, come back in, and we'll then paste that in to there like so. Highlight it, tab it across just to bring it into some sort of conformity here. And then what I will do is actually add in map / so that it matches that path file name. So we have map scripts biofuel.lua. If we go back into the folder here, so we have map scripts and then the biofuel.lua script. So I think that's probably a better way of doing it like so. Okay, so now that I've got the script all set up and that will run perfectly fine, the next parts that I need to bring in are the actual bits between the L10N sections. So we have our biofuel, water, fuel 1 or fuel 2, and solar Lear, Val, error, and so on and so on and so on. Now, may not require all of this, I am not sure entirely. What I may do is just take the biofuel and maybe a couple of others across and try it and see if it works, and then if it doesn't, copy a few more. I'm not really sure about that. But what I'm going to do first of all is I need the biofuel because obviously that's what we are creating. So I'm going to take biofuel. So I'm going to copy that line, come over, and then between my L10N section here and here, the two tags, I need to basically put that in. So it doesn't really matter where you put it in as long as it's somewhere between those two tags. So I'm going to create a couple of new lines here and then paste that in like so. So we have that one, And if we actually remember from the script itself, so if I go back into the script here and open that in Notepad++, we had, if we come down to the mod desk section, we had vol and silo layer. So I have in the other parts of that, I have vol, so I need to copy that one, so we'll do that. Go back into the mod desk, paste that one in, and then we also had silo layer, so I need to copy that across as well. So we'll do that, copy, and then paste that in as well. So I'll create another new line, paste that in. Okay, so don't think there's anything else there that I really need from what I can see in the script itself. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that down. I'm going to basically go with those to start with, and then we'll see how that works. Like I said before, might need some more of these to be brought over, might not, don't know yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the mod desk there, and I'll close that down. I'm going to leave this open so that I've got that there if I need those extra parts. So I'm going to minimize that down. So now what I'm going to do basically is zip up the Thornton Farm map, and then what I will do is put it into game, and I'll get some bits and pieces up together, and we will test it out. I don't think you need to watch me harvest corn and canola and all the rest of it for an hour. I will just basically get all those parts together, and then once I'm set up in a position where I can go ahead and put them into the actual mod itself, we can see how we go about creating our biofuel. So I'll be back shortly when I've done that. So that's it for part 4. Hopefully that was of some use to you, and I explained it in a manner that you could follow. In the next video we will be in game, and we'll check out the bits and pieces, make sure all of our information shows up correctly, and that we can actually use our triggers that I've set up, and also whatever else needs to be adjusted on the map to make it all work. So again, I'm hoping that you'll join me in part 5, and that will be the final part where we will complete the actual mod and the editing of the Thornton Farm map and get it all working and whatever else. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in part 5.